A shocking new disruption has hit Russia's energy grid after a drone strike reportedly impacted key power infrastructure, and now the entire situation is under intense review. What does this mean for Russia? How will it affect the region? And could this be the beginning of wider instability? Today, we break down what happened, why it matters, and what experts are saying behind the scenes. Stay tuned, because this story is bigger than it looks. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a major development coming out of Russia, a significant disruption to its energy infrastructure following a reported drone strike. While full details are still emerging, authorities have confirmed that parts of the power grid experienced interruptions, prompting widespread analysis and concern. In this video, we're going to break down what happened, what analysts believe may have caused it, and how this situation could impact both Russia and the broader region. As always, our goal is to give you clear, balanced, and factual information without hype or exaggeration. So sit tight as we go step by step through everything we currently know, along with the geopolitical angles experts are already discussing. Let's get into the details and understand why this event has captured global attention. The incident reportedly began when drones targeted a section of Russia's power infrastructure located in a region often associated with logistical and industrial activity. Initial reports indicate that the strike affected substations and transmission equipment, causing temporary power fluctuations. While the full scale of the damage is still being evaluated, energy engineers in the region immediately began rerouting power to stabilize the grid. Officials emphasized that although disruption occurred, there was no long-term grid collapse. This distinction is important because major energy networks are built with layered redundancy. What makes this situation notable is not just the physical impact, but the timing and location, which raise questions about intent and operational capability. Analysts are currently evaluating satellite imagery, eyewitness accounts, and local administration statements to determine how sophisticated the strike was. The event quickly gained international attention because energy infrastructure is considered extremely sensitive during heightened geopolitical tension. Following the disruption, Russian officials released carefully worded statements acknowledging the incident while stressing that the situation remained under control. Local authorities reported that emergency teams were deployed immediately to inspect damaged components and activate backup systems where needed. In several areas, temporary power fluctuations were noted, but most services were restored within hours. The Russian Ministry of Energy emphasized that the grid's stability was preserved and that contingency protocols worked as intended. Meanwhile, communication from regional governors highlighted that full evaluations were underway to determine whether the strike targeted critical nodes intentionally or incidentally. What stands out is the measured nature of these statements, a sign that Russia is attempting to manage public perception while preventing unnecessary panic. Simultaneously, security agencies launched parallel investigations to understand the origin of the drones and any possible coordinated intent behind the attack. This structured response suggests Russia is treating the incident seriously. Energy experts analyzing the available information say the technical impact, while significant, appears to be localized rather than systemic. Substations play a crucial role in regulating voltage, redistributing electricity, and maintaining consistent flow across long distances. When one of these nodes is compromised, the immediate region can experience voltage drops, grid instability, or controlled shutdowns known as load shedding. In this case, engineers successfully isolated affected circuits to prevent cascading failures, a critical step that protects the entire grid. Reports suggest that transformers and switching equipment were involved, which are complex and expensive to repair. Replacing such components can take weeks, depending on inventory and supply chain availability. However, Russia maintains substantial industrial capacity dedicated to energy infrastructure, reducing dependency on foreign components. Early assessments point to a disruption that is manageable but costly, and it highlights the increasing vulnerability of energy networks during modern conflict scenarios. This incident matters not only because it hit energy infrastructure, but also because it reflects a broader trend in regional conflict dynamics. Energy systems are increasingly viewed as strategic targets because they influence everything from military mobility to civilian morale. A drone strike, even a limited one, signals advanced reconnaissance, coordination, and timing. The fact that drones can travel deep into Russian territory raises questions about air, defense coverage, surveillance gaps, and potential escalation risks. For neighboring countries and global observers, incidents like this signal a shift toward asymmetric tactics where smaller, technologically agile operations can create disproportionate effects. As geopolitical pressure around the region continues, energy assets become even more central to national security discussions. This single event, therefore, becomes part of a larger narrative about evolving conflict capabilities and how nations adapt to threats in an increasingly drone-centric era. Even though the strike did not lead to a complete blackout, temporary disruptions can still create significant challenges for civilians and local industries. Homes, businesses, hospitals, and public transport systems rely on stable electricity. Reports indicate that some neighborhoods experienced brief outages, while industrial zones had to shift operations to backup generators. Factories dependent on continuous power may have paused production, which can lead to financial losses, delays, and supply chain adjustments. Local communities expressed concern about safety and the possibility of additional strikes. For many residents, the psychological impact is just as important as the physical effects. Any attack on infrastructure, especially energy facilities, creates uncertainty and anxiety. Emergency response teams have been working closely with local administrations to ensure that residents are informed, services are restored, and essential facilities remain fully operational. Analysts who study defense and energy security have been quick to weigh in on what this incident reveals. Some experts believe the strike demonstrates growing sophistication in long-range drone operations, especially those capable of bypassing traditional air defenses. Others argue that the event underscores the need for countries to modernize their infrastructure protection systems. Energy facilities have historically been vulnerable because they cover vast areas and rely on physical components that cannot be easily shielded. Experts also note that drone technology has advanced rapidly, becoming more accessible and more capable. This combination of accessibility and precision makes energy assets increasingly exposed to targeted strikes. Additionally, the timing of the event, amid heightened regional tensions, suggests that actors may be testing defensive boundaries or attempting to apply pressure indirectly. Analysts agree that the incident will likely influence future defense planning both within Russia and internationally. Understanding potential motives requires looking at both strategic and symbolic dimensions. Energy infrastructure is often targeted because it represents national strength, economic resilience, and operational capability. A temporary disruption can force authorities into emergency mode, redirect resources, and highlight vulnerabilities. Some analysts suggest the strike could be part of a broader attempt to test Russia's response speed and defensive posture. Others believe it may be intended to send a message without escalating into a full-scale confrontation. There is also the possibility that the strike was designed to create psychological impact, reminding both civilians and officials that critical infrastructure remains exposed. Regardless of the exact motive, the attack fits into a pattern of modern conflicts where technology enables smaller, more covert operations to achieve strategic outcomes. Investigators are now working to determine the origin of the drones to assess whether this was an isolated event or part of a coordinated effort. International observers have expressed concern over the incident, emphasizing the importance of protecting energy infrastructure in volatile regions. Countries that rely heavily on drones for defense and reconnaissance are studying the event closely, as it offers insights into vulnerabilities and countermeasures. Some governments have issued statements calling for restraint and urging all parties to avoid escalatory actions that could destabilize the region further. Energy markets also reacted cautiously. While there was no immediate impact on global prices, analysts warn that repeated disruptions could eventually influence supply chains, trade routes, and investor confidence. International organizations that monitor conflict zones have highlighted the need for stronger regulations and defensive systems to protect critical infrastructure. Overall, the global reaction underscores how interconnected energy security has become and how quickly a localized incident can spark broader geopolitical conversation. As investigations continue, authorities are focused on assessing long-term implications for infrastructure security. Engineers are working to fully analyze equipment damage, determine replacement timelines, and identify points where defenses need strengthening. Security agencies are examining drone fragments, flight paths, and radar signatures to trace the operation back to its source. Over the next few weeks, experts expect Russia to increase surveillance around key energy assets, reinforce strategic locations, and improve coordination between military and civilian energy operators. The incident may also prompt broader reforms in how nations prepare for drone-based threats. Looking ahead, this event serves as a reminder that energy infrastructure has become a front line in modern conflict. While the immediate disruption was contained, the long-term lesson is clear: critical systems require constant innovation, vigilance, and adaptability to withstand evolving threats. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And tell me in the comments, what do you think this incident means for regional stability? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.